Howdy y'all, this is Jared with Fluty Homestead, and today I'm working on the barn again, and I've had a lot of people wanting to see an update about the barn. So today I'm going to take you down here and show you what I've been working on, and we're going to be setting some posts and going to try to put the hallway together. That way I can get the rafters on it and we can get the roof on it all at one time. And the only thing I'm not sure about yet is if we're going to do the shed on the back yet, but we're going to see. Depends on the price of the tin. So we're going to try to get some work done and hopefully be ready for a roof soon. Okay, you can see where I'm starting to dig this hole, and I was using my grandpa's gas auger over there, and of course it's solid rock on this one. Everywhere I try to dig a hole usually it's got rocks in it, but the auger went down about, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches maybe, and I'm gonna have to dig the rest. Maybe if I can get some rocks out I can hit it one more time. I want to get this about 2 foot deep at least, and I'll try it again on out through there in my next holes, and maybe it'll go through it, maybe it won't, but we'll try it on all of them, and it don't hurt to try it. If I can get it to dig 2 of them, well, that's less than I would have had to dug with the post hole digger. So I'll keep a digging, see what I can do. Okay, I've got one of my locust posts here, and you see it's still got the bark on it, but I'm going to go ahead and take the bark off the end that's going in the ground, and then after these get some other stuff done, I'll go ahead and strip the rest of it while they're standing, and I don't believe that'll hurt it a bit. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'll get the bark off of them when I can. And all the ends going in the ground, I'm gonna go ahead and take the bark off. And these pretty good sized locusts. I mean, they get a lot bigger than this, but that's bigger than my hand. So that's just as good, probably better. I'm sure it's better than a $20 6x6 if I'd have bought a treated post. And this thing, it had 2 locust posts left on the hallway when I bought it, and who knows how long they'd been there. And they had, well, if they'd been there since 1880's and the bottom of them was just starting to rot off, that's a pretty good lifespan for a post. So if these get me that long, then I won't be the one worrying about them. Somebody else can change them out. So I'm going to go ahead and strip the bark off the bottom of these about 3 foot up. Then I'm going to set this baby in the ground. What I'm using here to take the bark off is a handy dandy draw knife. This one here was given to me by a subscriber, my buddy Rudell. Thank you again if you're watching. And this one, I'm pretty sure, was made just for debarking logs. It's got a narrow blade. It's about, I don't know, 6 inches wide. And it's curved slightly, just perfect, you know, for taking bark off. So I'm pretty sure, and it's got these big wide handles on it. That way you wouldn't hit your hand on a log. So I'm 99% sure that was what that was used for, and it's really handy. Does a real good job. I need to sharpen it just a little bit, but does a real nice job. Okay, I got her peeled slicker than a tater now, and I done a real good job. That bark comes off real good, and there ain't much sapwood on this black locust. And now I'm gonna take my chainsaw and I'm gonna cut this butt of this nice and square. That way it sits good on the ground. And you know, if you got something that's kind of angled or pointed like this, it'll help push it into the ground more, because you want something nice and flat. And I'm going to leave the rest of that bark. I got more than 3 foot on there. I got about 4 foot, I'd say, peeled off. And that's just that much less I got to do later. And it's coming off real good. I think the sap's starting to rise in these trees. And come off real nice. So I'm going to take and, while I've got it pivoted on this tractor boom, I can move it with one hand pretty easy. So I'm just going to wiggle him over here to the hole and slide him in. And I'll level him up. And then we got to get all squared up for the rest of the posts. Okay, we're going to show you how Jimmy Ray showed me how to level a crooked post up here. We nailed us a board up top and put the string in the center of the post on 2 sides. And he tied his big nail down here on the bottom. And you just push him over till it hangs to the middle of the post on the bottom of each side. And you're level. No matter how crooked it is. This in here, the string is almost to the edge, right in here. By the time you get down the bottom, it's right back in the middle.
That's a pioneer way.
Yeah, that's the old way. Got one more to go. Okay, we got all of our locust posts in the ground. We put 4 of them, spanning 30 foot, so they're 10 foot apart. And they're in the ground 2 foot deep. And I did not use concrete on these posts. We tamped in rock and gravel, and then it's in clay dirt, and it'll hold till the cows come home. So they're sticking up a little over 8 foot now, about 8.5 foot. And now I'm going to show you a trick to determine where this ground ain't perfectly level, and we want to establish how high we're going to put our beam across the top. We're going to be using these. I got 2 hickory logs that come off the barn, and we're going to set these up here in place. And I'm going to show you how we determined which one of these was the shortest, and then we can measure and figure out where we need to cut them off to make them all nice and level. Okay. Okay, me and my neighbor Jimmy Ray has set up a transit here, and we've got it all leveled up, nice and level. And what we've done is one of us run the instrument, and this is level, and you aim it towards the post, and then whenever the other one took a nail and a hammer, and whenever the nail showed up on the crosshairs. We drove a nail in each post on level, and I'll show you that. And that way they're dead level all the way across. And right here is our nail. And it don't matter how high your gun is, because once you establish level, you can measure up and hit any mark you want. So we drove our nail in every post at the same level, and now all I have to do is take a tape measure and measure up. And I think the third post over was the shortest, so you know you couldn't go over however high that is. But if I want 8 feet high, I go to the shortest post, which will be this third post. I'll measure 8 foot from the ground, and I'll put my 8 foot mark there, and then I'll measure from the nail. Right here's the nail on this one. I'll measure from the nail to the 8 foot mark, and then however deep my log is, I'm going to subtract that from 8 feet. So if it's 6 inches, I'll go 7.5 foot, and I'll measure from the nail to that mark, and then I can mark every post. I'll measure from the nail up there, and the same on these, and then that will be exactly level all the way across for my log to set on. And this log, you know, is going to be 30 foot long. So if this end of the log on the butt end is 8 inches, and say the other end is 6, you know, I can determine which end that's going on, and I can add you know, 2 inches by the time I get to the end down there for the log to be level. So we're ready now. Now that we got these posts in, we'll be ready to cut them off, and then we'll have to set up and get this log lifted up. And once we get it cut off where we want, I'm going to cut a notch in this log, the width of the post, and about 3 inches deep into this log. And then I've got some big spikes we're going to drive through, and I was going to drill them and put a wooden peg in, but that black locust is pretty tough, and I don't know if I want to try to drill holes in them. So I've got some huge big spikes. Then this is the end where we cut them loose from the barn. If you remember in the other videos, the other end I got will butt right back onto this, and then we'll bolt this baby back together, and it'll be just as good as one continuous log going 30 foot across. And once we get all that up, I'm going to put some angle braces on these posts to stouten it up some, and then we'll be ready for the rafters, and finally we'll be ready to put tin on this thing. So been a long road, but I just work on it when I can, and I appreciate y'all watching, and I really enjoy all your comments on the videos. I learned a lot from you all, and I hope you learned something from me. Okay, I appreciate y'all watching, and within the next 2 videos we should be putting a roof on this barn. Once we get these posts all finished up and get the rafters on, we'll be ready for tin, and be ready to do some of the finish work like the doors and such. So appreciate y'all watching, and make sure you like and subscribe and keep up with all the new videos we post. And appreciate y'all watching. Hope you have a very blessed day.